you worry a lot when you become a dad, you know? Because you're responsible for more than just you. Now it's like other people rely on you for safety. So I recently went out for the first time in my life, bought a handgun. But we were only safer for one night, because by the second day, I could not stop thinking, I gotta shoot somebody with this thing. This looks like too much fun, right? I'm too old to join a gang. What do you do at that point? So by the third night, I started leaving my front door kind of wide ass open all night long, right? 55-inch plasma TV on the front porch. Trail of bait going down to the bus stop, like iPod, blender, Chili's gift certificates.
Dave Williamson is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Dave's got dates all over the place. And what you should do is go to davewilliamsoncomedy.com and find out where he's going to be. Orlando, Florida. This sounds like the greatest day ever, May 4th. It's part of the Bacon, Bourbon, and Blues Festival.
Yeah, dude, I'm stoked for that one.
Yes, thank you.
And yes.
It's cool, man. I always thought it was really cool. I've always been like jealous of, you know, guys like you where you had you're really into like the general contracting and stuff, and you had that TV show where you got to kind of use your entertainment chops to lean into a world that you enjoyed, right?
Yeah.
And like, you know, Rogan does like MMA stuff and whatever. And I never, you know, thought I had anything like that. And then just by accident, barbecue, this has kind of happened where my comedy and barbecue worlds are crossing paths. And that barbecue festival called me up and said, hey, we have a venue. Would you do a comedy show in conjunction with our barbecue festival? And I went, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got to negotiate, you know, in the back of your head, you know, I'll do this for free. Like, you know, I just want to go to the festival. But
yeah, no, it's the Reese's peanut butter cup. You know, you take this thing and that thing, and then you combine them to make a better thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, it's the new world order of show business. But you find stuff you're into, and then you do a show about it.
Yeah.
And now you get paid to do what you're into. I love
100%.
Putting country musicians into barriers. Some show.
Ending careers.
Or I could just ram people.
yeah.
All right, what do we got? You know, Dawson, can you find the song by Ringo Starr? Is it Oh My My? You Can Boogie. I don't know what it's called, Boogie. I realize Ringo sucks. Like everyone talks about what a great drummer he is, which is fine, but they don't talk about what a shit singer he is and what a shitty songwriter he is, although someone may have written that. But when you hear that song, you kind of go, oh, I get why the other guys in the band were doing all the heavy lifting. But anyway, do your news, and then we'll find that.
Okay.
And he also says you're 16... 15 or 16 beautiful in your mind? Is that
16?
16. All right, that's good. I don't know. In the 70s, 16 was the 18. Like, guys would write songs about fucking 16-year-olds, but they never went to 18, which would then make it legal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of lyrics didn't hold up over time.
Yeah. All right, what do you got, Chris?
All right, so we're talking about Buzz Aldrin punching that that instigator. Well, Alec Baldwin had an interaction with an agitator as well. He was talking. He was at a coffee shop, and there's this person who hosts a show called Crackhead Barney and Friends, and she just got in his face and demanded that he say something that he didn't want to say, and it finally led to him smacking the phone out of her hand. So here it is.
Can you please say Free Palestine one time? Why did you kill that lady?
Oh my
You killed that
God.
lady and got no jail time? No jail time, Alec?
He's not
No jail time, Alec.
budging.
You're putting innocent people in jail, Alec Baldwin. Free Palestine, Alec, just one time. And I'll
Before he's
leave you
trying to
alone.
get her to stop,
I'll leave you alone.
he
I
goes
swear.
to the door.
Just say Free Palestine one time. One time. One time.
He's going to end the war?
One time, Alec.
Yeah.
You know he's a criminal. You know he's a fucking criminal.
Employee.
So why do you want a
Come on,
criminal to
just
say something?
Free Palestine one time. One time.
he's
Just
just
one
saying, like,
time.
please leave.
Please. And I'll leave you alone. Free Palestine. Fuck Israel. Fuck Zionism. Please say it. One time.
Could you do me one quick favor?
Smart.
I gave her the okey doke.
So the general consensus on Twitter was, wow, I can't believe you got us to side with Alec Baldwin, but you were being crazy.
Yeah. She sounded strange, but there's way too... First off, when did women go nuts? When did women go nuts? I've been talking about this for a long time. They're fighting, they're harassing, they're in everyone's grill. This didn't exist when I was a kid. Like, all the fucking bitches have gone nuts. That's what's going on.
Look, there's
right
always
now.
been crazy people out there. It's just
I know, but
you just didn't have the platform to see it every single day in your face.
I feel like they kept it closer to the vest back then.
I just think it was easier to ignore them.
Maybe that's maybe that. I think women got weaponized. The women didn't used to act insane. Now they're going nuts.
Well, this person's a known agitator, which I'm surprised. Like, people who are known agitators, how do they find themselves in these situations? It's crazy that here's Alec Baldwin. And he looked pretty broken. Just standing, I don't know.
It's just a guy. I mean, look, regardless of how you feel politics or how you feel about what happened with his incident, in that incident, he's just a dude trying to get coffee.
Yeah.
You know, probably hungover in his neighborhood.
I mean, Baldwin's, I know him pretty well, and he's got a kind of a curse in that he's sort of too smart and he overthinks everything, and he's, kind of lives in his head. And he's a really brilliant guy, and he's sort of a super bright, talented, gifted guy, but thinking too much is a double-edged sword. You can turn in on yourself, But he's also comes from a place and a time when if you fucked with people, you might get punched. You know what I mean? And it prevented people from fucking with people because they may have gotten punched. You know what I mean? And so he's sort of it sort of reminds me of, like, if you talk to, like, your grandpa and he's like, oh, a colored couple moved in across the way, and you can't say it's like he's been saying colored since 1941, and now we expect him to just stop whatever he grew up with, however he did it, and just acclimate like immediately to these times.
Yeah,
Look,
younger generations are always going to have things that we're not used to, and I don't have the capacity to learn. Like I think I alluded to it earlier. I honestly don't care. Whatever gender you want to be is fine. I support you if that makes you happy. But don't expect me to be smart enough to learn. I don't even know what a pronoun is, and before it was a title in general. I wasn't good at grammar.
You're in the pool, man.
I was
kicking ass.
I was busy training.
That's right. No,
I support you. I want you to feel loved, but don't be offended that I don't know the difference.
Yeah, I'm the same way, except for I don't support you.
And I think he showed such patience. I can't believe he lasted that long.
That's the longest Baldwin's ever been harassed before throwing down.
Yeah.
Right. And he did do the good, like, he wanted to walk in and talk, and boom, side hand, pow.
Right.
Good
He was trying to make it seem like someone came in from the side.
That was best case
the
scenario.
no-looker.
So just an update too. So movie weapons supervisor Hannah Gutierrez Reed was sentenced earlier this month to 18 months in prison for she was the one convicted of involuntary manslaughter for the Rush shooting.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem he had with that entire ordeal is he kept saying he didn't squeeze the trigger, and I would have been like, I was handed a gun, a prop. I was told it was cold and there was nothing in it, and we're rehearsing a scene where I squeezed the trigger. Yeah. So yeah, I did. Why is that on me?
Right.
You know what I mean? If they handed me, if Wile E. Coyote handed me a bomb with a clock on it and someone told me it was just filled with sawdust and it blew up, that wouldn't really be on me either. You know what I mean? Like, I was handed a gun by a prop master and told it was safe, or told it was empty, or told it was cold, or whatever the terminology is. So yeah, that's what I thought. Same thing you would have thought if somebody handed you something and said there's nothing in it.
Did that already go through trial?
Yeah.
They kept trying to get him and he did this stupid interview where he said a bunch of stuff which you're not supposed to do. But it's a mistake. It's a tragedy.
Yeah.
Do you think if OJ had gotten convicted of those murders, would he have ever gotten out in his lifetime, or would he have been in prison forever?
Talking about O.J. Simpson or O.J. Anderson, who played for the Giants and the Cardinals? Because there's two more than one O.J., and I don't know the full story.
Was not aware of that, but yeah, O.J. Simpson.
Oh, O.J. Simpson. You don't know O.J. Anderson?
No, I forgot about that.
O.J. Anderson played for the Cardinals, then went to the Giants, and then won a Super Bowl with the Giants as a running back in Super Bowl, whatever.
And also went to trial?
No, different OJ.
Okay, all right.
This is OJ Anderson. And I don't know where he got OJ from. But
there's been a couple. OJ McDuffie played for the Dolphins.
Won a Super Bowl. Yeah. All right. What were we talking about?
OJ would be in for life.
OJ would have never gotten out?
I think so.
Yeah.
Brutal murder.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right. So, since we're talking about movies with guns, so
Otis Jerome, that's where OJ comes from. Do you have Ringo? Do I have that?
I'm not sure what song you're looking
you
for.
Can boogie
but...
or something.
My. That's what he.
Okay, yeah, I got that.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay. Go ahead. What do you got, Chris?
We'll just so we're talking about action movies. So, TMZ's doing this documentary with Arnold and Sly Stallone. Mm-hmm. And Harvey asked them, who you both are definitely on the Mount Rushmore of action heroes. Who are the other two guys? And I just want to get your guys' takes. Who are the other two guys that should be joining them?
Who were the first two? Stallone and
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay, yeah.
So those are.
You got to go Jackie Chan because you got to kind of even it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kid is of all muscle heads. Yeah.
We need a little diversity on there.
Look, I'm all for Jackie Chan. I think
Jackie
he's a
Chan
legend.
is amazing, and does all his own stunts and all that craziness. I mean, you got to put Jackie Chan on there. You got to put O.J. Anderson on there.
Was he also in Naked Gun?
You got to put your dad on there.
We need a wild card. Yeah.
All right, now
Steven Seagal.
Seagal, you can. But you got to,
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, Chuck, you can do.
I got a good one. Bruce Willis.
That's a nice nod, but yeah.
Just because he's a little different, but definitely an action star.
You got Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude maybe gets the nod over Jackie Chan.
What about Tom Cruise in the second half of his career?
Doing all his own stunts, I mean, yeah, you gotta. I'm gonna go. I'll go Tom Cruise and Jackie Chan.
Tom Cruise.
Strong.
What, you agree?
I think you need one cheesy guy on there. I think you need either like a Chuck Norris, Steven Seagal, and I think Chuck Norris gets it for nostalgic.
Right. So Arnold added Clint Eastwood.
Oh, is he really an action star?
Yeah. Shooting a lot of people.
And they also added Bruce Willis as well.
Yeah.
So Bruce Willis, Clint Eastwood, and then
Bruce Willis.
That's a good list. That's a pretty strong list.
I don't know. I feel like that's because he's suffering now. I feel like there's a little. It's a posthumous sort of Hall of Fame. The guy with
recency bias.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Hall of Fame passed him over 23 times, and now he died of leukemia. And now he's getting into the Hall of Fame. Like, I think there's an element. I mean, great action. I just don't know if I got two. I don't know.
Prisoner of the moment.
I think you got to get Jackie Chan in there.
I agree. I love Jackie Chan. So,
I think it'd be a good compromise, strong list if you go Arnold, Stallone, Jackie Chan, Bruce Willis.
All right, I can live with that.
All right, let's move on with after that. So, I mean, a lot happening at Columbia. Columbia University. So they've announced that classes are going to be remote for the rest of the year as anti-Israel protests rock the school.
It's $70,000 a year.
To
go to Columbia.
That's an online school.
They've just announced you just go home. Like, they should not get paid. I mean, listen, I'm sorry. If you can't provide a safe environment, what's the $70,000 for if I can't show up? You know what I mean?
Right. So, I mean, look, these protests, they're fueling a national debate over free speech and student demonstrations amid growing unrest over the fate of Palestinians in Gaza.
The chick's going nuts again.
They're going...
It's 80% women, which is funny to me. The other thing is, it makes me laugh. So remember, we're fucked. Okay, here's the deal. They have a problem. The Biden administration has a problem. CNN has a problem. These assholes never shut up about white supremacy. That's all. Joe Biden ran for president because he was going to put an end to white supremacy. That's what he was sitting on his Barca-lounger 4.5 years ago and decided he needed to run so he could stop white supremacy. That's what he says. Then every campaign stop, he never stopped talking about the biggest problem this country has is white supremacy. And now we got a problem because all the people that are putting their hands on everybody, they don't look like Ted Nugent. They're just a bunch of fucking fat Middle Eastern bitches who are screaming at everyone. And all the Asians that are getting punched out in Manhattan are getting punched out by black people. So now we're fucked. And our white supremacy theory, which is the whole reason now, he didn't run to stop white supremacy. He just ran to act like he was a hero to stop white supremacy. And he's done a pretty good job of it because you don't see a lot of white supremacists at all these rallies and all the events and punching people randomly in the subway and all that kind of stuff. You don't. So maybe we should give Joe his due for stopping white supremacy. But he hid behind it. CNN hid behind it. And that was always the rallying call, which is we must put an end to white supremacy. And then they would get up there and, you know, FBI and CIA and all these people would never stop talking about white supremacy. But when you turn on the news, you don't see white dudes in that crowd. You see crazed women screaming in that crowd. And so now CNN is in a weird place. Like, how do we report on this? Because it's not really it was not our version of racism. We had a version of racism. Our version of racism was a guy who looked like Ted Nugent being racist against someone who was black or brown or something like that. It wasn't brown women screaming at everybody. It wasn't brown women screaming at Jews. Right. That was not our version, and it wasn't black people punching Asians. So now CNN's in a weird position, and so is the Biden administration, because we love racism, not this kind of racism. That's not what we were talking about.
So, yeah, Representative Richie Torres, Democrat from New York today, called for Columbia University President Manu Shafiq to get the anti-Israel agitators on campus under control or resign. So I mean, it's a weird place.
It's funny. They've lost it.
How like I haven't read this. I feel like this is my moment where I'm the police officer and someone's asking me something, and instead of like just saying, "Hey, I need to read more about that," I'm pretending like I know something. So
in colleges, there are camps forming. It started around like Thursday of last week, where they're just.
But is it violent? Is it like?
It's not violent, but it is.
It's threatening that
some of it's violent.
Some of it's violent, and it's like Jews don't want to show up, and then of course, if you did this with any other group. If you're coming out against blacks or Asians or Hispanics, everyone would fucking have their panties in a bunch and be going insane. What would CNN be doing if these were white people doing it to black people? They'd be nonstop, 24/7. They wouldn't be trying to tamp it down and go, the protest, they have pizza and they dance. You know, they wouldn't do it that way. So they've kind of fucked themselves because they built an entire edifice on racism and they got the wrong racism.
Yeah.
And they don't really know what to do with it now.
Well, I mean, look, Eric Adams, Kathy Hochul, the White House all expressed concern of the safety of these Jewish students. Robert Kraft said that he's pulling support for his alma mater, Columbia.
Well, they start making changes when the money starts drying up.
With everything in life.
Everything in life. That's where people somehow get smart, they get sober, and they get wise. When the money dries up, and Dr. Drew was saying it's like 50% Jewish, Columbia, but it's also about 70% Jewish alumni. And the alumni is like, fuck this. I'm not doing this anymore. But you know what I like? It's a little microcosm of the actual Middle East, because what's going on in the Middle East? Well, what's going on is if Israel lays down their weapons, they'll be slaughtered. If the rest of the Middle East lays down their weapons, there'll be peace. Because Israel's not going to slaughter them.
Yeah.
Now you go to these campuses and who's being attacked? And who's the attacker and who's the attackee? Like, who's getting knocked around? Are the Jews coming out? The Jews have every argument to come out against these retards, too, because they just had an attack and slaughtered and raped and did horrific, unmentionable things to women and so on and so forth. They just had a bunch of innocents attacked unprovoked. So why aren't the Jews physically attacking the Palestinians on the campus? Because it's not who they are.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same thing playing out in the Middle East. That's not who they are. It's the other group that is attacking them. So there's a micro and a macro. And the macro is what's going on in the Middle East. And then the micro is a version of it that's going on college campuses. And it's fucking mostly women when you see this, which is crazy, who are angry at their dads because they have no fucking idea what's going on. I told Dr. Drew, I said, my grandmother was in the Communist Party for a while, right? Now, what does Helen Gorog know about the Communist Party when she's 22? She doesn't know shit about the Communist Party. All she knows is she hates her dad and she hates this country. And this seems like a thing that would piss them off the most. So she's now done this. The Communist Party, all they do is stand against everything my grandmother was for. Freedom, women empowerment, voting rights for women, minorities, everything. They're not down with any of that stuff. But yet that's who you're with. You're not really with them. You don't even know what the fuck they do. You're not with Palestine. You're not with Hamas. You're just, you're for whatever would piss off Alec Baldwin the most. That's what your dad and this country. You hate this country. You don't love Palestine. There's nothing to fucking love about Palestine. You're angry at this country. And you're fucking 19 and you don't know shit. And you're chanting chants. You don't even know which river and which sea. You don't know any of it. Yeah. And you're like, yo, you're queers for Palestine? You're going to go over there and be gay and lesbian? Good luck. You're getting thrown off a building in a fucking potato sack, bitch. That's who you're chanting for? No, you're not. You're just pushing back against the man. These are fucking immature idiots who grew up in some sort of bubble wrap environment that are just lashing out. They don't even know what it is. You're angry at the Jews for what? You're angry at the Jewish student for what? What are they doing? Bankrolling Israel? Like, what do you want? What do you want from Columbia? What do you want from any college campus? You don't even know what you want. And they don't care. That's the whole point. They're just pushing back. They're acting out. That's all this.
Do you think, this is obviously a very extreme example, right? Peace in the Middle East has been a problem that hasn't been solved in a very long time. It's a very extreme example. But and there's always going to be protests. There's always going to be, rioting with certain things, whatever. But when I was a kid, I felt like I just assumed, not even a kid, like a young man, I felt like, hey, man, politicians are smart and we don't have to pay attention to it because our leaders kind of are there for a reason. And I don't have to freak out about stuff, even scary stuff, because we got people in place to handle that.
Yeah.
But I feel like we've gotten to a place in society where everyone's very aware that we have a lot of politicians that aren't smart.
No.
And even when the politicians, like just the president of the United States, whether your guy's in office or not, we have now, the media has now just gone to trying to discredit them, every chance they get. So I feel like there's a large part of the population that it's that little puppy dog you were talking about earlier. You can't be a cool lab anymore, no matter what happens in the news. You go, oh my God, do I have to do something? Do I have to do something? And then everyone feels like they got to go do something. And what they're doing isn't going to have any effect on the actual problem,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm talking about a middle-aged dog that's skittish. But but puppies are sweet. I like puppies. I don't want you to think I'm against puppies.
Yeah, all right. No, I would never say that. Unless that puppy's driving a race car against you.
I'll put him in the wall. I'll put that schnauzer in the wall.
Take this, Rover.
So it's funny because now poor Joe Biden is in this shitty position because He ran on, according to him, I mean, obviously he's lying, but he ran on Trump saying there's good people on both sides in Charlotte. And now when he gets interviewed about the whole Palestinian thing, he goes, there's good people on both sides. Because he can't commit to anything because he's trying to get votes. So he's got to explain that they're both right.
Yeah.
Sure, anyone who knows the Middle East knows they're both right. That's how it works.
I do have to say I was very sensitive to that particular incident because as a dad who enjoys the culture of hanging out in his yard, they really demonized khaki pants and tiki torches.
Yeah, that's your world.
Yeah.
I know.
Your
neighbors are judging you after that. I'm sure.
You run an extension cord out to your TV set, or how's it work?
I do.
Wow.
I have, dude, you could probably come over to my house and within 2 minutes, I think, just with your knowledge of
conduit.
Yeah, you'd probably be like, Dave, this is a problem.
What's your attire? Do you have sleeves at least? You going sleeveless?
I wear a tank top every chance I get, for sure. Mm-hmm. Big flip flop guy. Mm-hmm. I've basically drilled holes into the house that I'm renting into the floorboards, and then I run extension cords out through the vents to the front yard.
Wow!
And then I have my TV, for example. I have the bistro lights strung through it, and then the TV is plugged into and now like everything's on Wi-Fi, so you don't have to run cable out there or anything. It's just as long as you can reach the Wi-Fi, like you're good, bro.
You go through the floor.
Yeah.
You go through the subflooring.
I go through the hardwood flooring down to the crawl space.
Well, you got subflooring underneath the hardwood flooring. I'm guessing.
I don't think there's much.
You go right. Was a house from like the 20s or 30s?
It's an old house, yeah.
All right. So you got diagonal sheathing 1x6.
I'll take your word for it.
All right. You go through that. Then you get into the crawl space under the house.
Yeah.
And then you go out through the vent on the side. Because you're on a foundation, not a slab.
Exactly.
And, you got to... When you make that hole in that screen, vermin can get in there. You may want to.
I'm very conscious of that.
You may want to get some like expanding foam or something and kind of make sure that the rats and whatever can't squeeze in there.
So I buy I buy from Home Depot or whatever those little plugs that you would put in a desk.
Yeah,
that kind of like rotate for
cords. Yeah, like computer cords.
So that's what I have in the actual floorboard.
Oh, sweet. You drilled it.
Clean.
Yeah.
You drilled it big.
Yeah, with like a 1 inch,
With flat paddle bit or a hole saw?
No, like with my drill. I put the drill bit in that's got that big drill, like it's like the drill bit that looks like this, and I just go right into my floorboard.
Oh, yeah, you did. That's a hole saw.
Yeah. And then the back, I put a giant barn in my backyard. That I got off Craigslist, and I built like a clubhouse for my kids back there.
Wow.
We've got an arcade that I bought from Hugh Hefner's ex-wife.
Wow, you're such a winner.
Yeah.
I just answered an ad on Craigslist, and I
ended
up buying one of these arcades.
I'm not worried about vermin getting into your house, but into your crawl space.
Oh.
So when you go out through that screen,
I'm certain there's vermin living in my crawl space.
Okay, all right. And you just run extension cord out there and plug everything in.
Yeah, and because some of my smokers are digital too. So yeah, so I have like a power strip, an outdoor power strip, and I run it all through that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that sound dangerous or does it sound okay?
No, it's because the power strip's got the breaker thing on there, right? Yeah, you're fine.
I mean, it's been quite a few years and we haven't had a problem, so.
Yeah. That's how things work if you can go a few years with nothing.
Yeah, you're safe.
Yeah, those Twin Towers were built in 1969, no problems.
I built this cool little shed during the pandemic for my smoker, and then now my whole yard's full of them. My front yard looks like a sports bar.
Wow.
But I did notice recently that the very first structure I built, from the heat just being there for so long, I looked up, and the boards up here are definitely patinaed. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that looks like it could have caught fire at some point.
Do we have Ringo?
So there's this thing. It's a very rare condition called auto brewery syndrome.
That's when you're out of IPAs.
Yeah, I think I have this.
Last weekend.
We've talked about gut health. Well, there's like a certain combination of like fungi in the gut to where if you eat carbs, it becomes alcohol in your body.
Oh, wow. This will explain. This is great for any potential DUI lawyer. This
Exactly
is
right.
perfect because all he has is a couple of bran muffins, but he has a disease. Oh, you want to know? If I called Mark Garagos right now and I was like, Mark, you need to find me a fucking medical expert to explain that I have this disease because I got pulled over last night and I'm just telling the cops I ate a bagel and a bran muffin. I didn't do any drinking, but I blew a .09. But I need you to. He'd go. I'll have the guy on the phone with you in 10 minutes. He doesn't even need to talk to you.
You have to get an Olive Garden waitress to testify. It was like, I brought him 3 baskets of bread. It's my
That's
fault.
right. He did the bread. He did the
bottomless
cheesy
breadsticks.
Yeah, did the bottomless breadsticks.
So exactly. So here's some stories. Like, it's very rare. That's like less than 100 people.
Doesn't matter. When Mark gets that expert up on that stand,
but you're less than 100 people. Right?
You're done. You get the expert.
Yeah,
It
so
exists.
One guy was charged with drunken driving after crashing his truck and spilling 11,000 salmon on a highway in Oregon. Another guy secretly recorded by his wife who was convinced he was a closet alcoholic. But in Belgium, a brewery worker was recently pulled over and given a breathalyzer test. His blood alcohol level was more than 4 times the legal limit.
Wow.
But it's because he has ABS, so he didn't get charged.
Wow.
Right.
You just eat a bunch of fries and it turns into ethanol and you get drunk.
Man, what a dream. You know?
Yeah, especially if you know you have it, and so you can harness it.
You guys are jealous of this.
We are because
it'd be terrible if you didn't know you had it and you just keep getting you're like a lightweight. You're like, I had 1 beer with lunch. Why am I so hammered? But if you know you have it,
you have it.
I'd be sneaking bread on airplanes every.
Oh yeah,
little bread bottles.
Yeah.
I'd have a bag of croutons with me all the time.
That's right. He's trying to keep a 3
At my kid's soccer game, just eating an English muffin at 8 in the morning. Just get a nice little bread buzz.
Yeah, you'd go crouton for sure, just to kind of keep the buzz going.
Yeah, and if you're partying hard, you go rum cake because then you're hitting it with both angles. Right?
Get the carb and the booze in there. Smart. Yeah, that's shrewd. Yeah,
I like it. So there's a new so hit up Garagos if you need that letter from your doctor, or while he's there, he could prescribe you a prescription for the boogie woogie.
I got the boogie woogie flu. Any doctor song. I hate all doctor songs.
Doctor My Eyes, Jackson Browne. So
that's a good song. That's a good song. The worst is Robert Palmer. Doctor, Bad Case of Loving You. All Robert Palmer songs are fucking horrible.
Humble Pie, Doctor. That's a good one.
No, that's UFO.
UFO, okay.
Doctor. Yeah, I'm going to eat some of my humble pie and say that UFOs, Doctor, Please is a fucking rocking song. So I will now go back and walk that one back.
We need to make a Spotify playlist.
Only Doctor songs that are live and by UFO are acceptable. And then the worst is Dr. Feelgood is the fucking Dr. Feelgood, Doctor.
Dr. Feelgood, a good album though. You just don't like that song.
Yeah, I guess not. I have no appreciation for the hair bands.
That was my era though. Like early '90s. That's when I got into music, and I was in junior high and going to all those. I went to Poison and Bon Jovi and Motley Crue and Tesla and all those bands back then.
How'd you like all that?
I mean, I was a kid and into music. I loved it, dude. And we were young, so it's like we had to get our mom to take us to the concert. So
where do we come down on people that call Bon Jovi Jovi?
I don't respect that at all.
Yeah,
too casual.
It's too casual.
Yeah, no one ever called him that. That wasn't a thing. So you just made it up. If you're a guy who does it,
you into Jovi at all? Like they'll do that. Yeah. I don't like it.
Too informal. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's a real name.
Yeah, I'm with you on it.
What about Halen?
I think it's the same question.
What about Bon Halen? The ultimate rock band.
That'd be fun.
I'd watch that Bon Halen.
Yeah. Splice together some bands. I like it.
That's good hair, too.
Yeah.
That's hair.
You can go down to YouTube rabbit hole by taking songs you like, and they're going to be on YouTube somewhere where some DJ has spliced together like a Van Halen song and like a mashup and like a Tupac song. Yeah, and they put it, and some of them sound pretty awesome.
There's some good mashups out there for sure.
All right, one more.
All right, so there's this guy going viral. He was trying to buy some chicken at Costco.
I saw this.
Yeah. So
I didn't see this.
So there's a video of him. He has like 5 rotisserie chickens in his cart, and he asked the cashier, "Please don't shine the LED on the chicken. I have another barcode you can use." And it's on. It's printed on his shirt. So here he is.
You know who I am. I don't want any trouble. I got 5 chickens. I don't want any LED on them. None. Scan my shirt 5 times, buddy.
He has the
5
UPC
times.
code
Buddy.
on his shirt.
That's a regular credit card.
See, I'm
Okay,
glad.
hold on.
I'm glad I have my
got one.
dad and not this
Here you
guy.
go.
You got to show your membership card first, so he gets his membership card
I don't want to
scanned.
charge it on this card. I want to put it on this card. Scan it.
I mean, the rotisserie chicken's the best deal in Costco.
Oh my God!
Scan it.
Their mac and cheese is pretty awesome too.
You get that rotisserie chicken, and you
Gets his shirt scanned 5 times.
got to get the garlic paste. You got to make your own garlic paste. With
Oh,
with
they sell the garlic paste.
Do
but
they?
It does. I think it does have like canola oil.
It's all
in it.
canola
Yeah.
oil. You got to make your own with
So the
olive oil.
rotisserie chicken, they actually take a loss, I believe.
It's a loss leader. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like their 75-cent hot dogs.
Yeah, exactly. They just don't want to raise the prices. They're sticking to their principles. They purposely put it in the back, so you have to walk through all their stuff to get to it. Yeah.
So is this a conspiracy theory thing? Like he thinks the LED lights are damaging his chickens or something?
That would be a weird thing because
But
he's
it's
having
better if it hits him in the chest
yeah,
5 times.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's his
like
vital
it
organs.
stops his pacemaker.
He's committing
worried about the
suicide there.
chicken. Yeah, he's got a pacemaker. That guy. Listen, I talked to the great Howie Mandel once, and I was backstage at a show I was doing. He was eating at a barbecue place across
there,
the
yeah.
way. And Chris was there, and he came backstage and he had a cardboard box filled with popcorn. And he walked up to me. He just saw I was playing the theater,
saw
so he
you on
just
the
came back
marquee,
with
yeah.
his wife and his friends and stuff. Hey, and he came by. He was offering everyone at the table popcorn from his box, and then everyone was reaching in and grabbing handfuls and putting it in their face, and then he'd grab a handful and he'd put it in his face. And after a few minutes, I said, Howie, wait a minute, you're germaphobe.
Yeah.
Why is everyone's reaching into your popcorn? Everyone's like fast and loose with popcorn. They can put your hand in your mouth, you lick your fingers, and then you go dunk. But by the way, you do a second dip on a chip and everyone fucking freaks out. Well, what about the popcorn with the hand licking and the thing? All right. But I go, Howie, I don't get it. You're a germaphobe. Why is this okay? And he goes, I'm nuts. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, right. I was trying to make sense.
Yeah.
I'm going looking at through a linear lens
You're
of
thinking
trying to
too
A,
logically.
B, and C, but you're nuts.
Yeah, he doesn't know
That's-
what bothers him and what doesn't.
Right.
He just knows
we're
some
like,
things do.
Why is this guy with the laser on the chicken and the scanner? He's nuts.
Yeah.
That's what nuts is.
Nuts,
That's what
you're
nuts
inconsistent.
does.
Yeah.
That's why you're nuts. If it makes sense,
Yeah.
then you're not nuts.
Which I think brings us back to a lot of the discussions we had tonight about why people do certain things. Like,
Yes.
I just think a lot of people in the world are crazy.
Yeah.
And they didn't have good dads.
Like your dad spearfishing, driving a Hummer.
I'm glad this guy got you to a place at the end of the podcast where you appreciated your dad, though. I
do.
Because I heard you say it out loud.
I'm gonna hug Jim next time I see him.
good luck.
So thank you. Thanks for nothing. But
Yeah.
but literally not being insane.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Small barbecue hack on the subject of Costco. Everyone asks me where I get my meat, and there's a lot of great places I get my meat. I'm lucky that a lot of awesome companies around the country mail me shit and whatever. But most cities have not just a Costco, but they have a Costco business center. And you can go to the Costco business center with your regular Costco membership card, and they have a much better meat selection at
Really?
the Costco business center.
Interesting. So
yeah,
business meaning like you run a restaurant.
Right. So it's basically just food there and food items. You're not going to buy a kayak and a satellite dish while you're there, you know? Kirkland jeans or anything. It's just food. So they have a much more complex meat section.
Yeah, there's
Really?
one on Tahunga and Sherman.
Oh,
in the
really?
Valley, yeah.
Oh, it's funny you say Sherman, because it's so funny the weird little. If you say Sherman, I don't know what you're talking about. It's Sherman Way.
Yes.
But I realize you don't need to say Way. But if you're from here, you'd say Sherman Way. But you wouldn't say the PCH. You just go PCH. Like it's just Sepulveda. Like there's a weird, but no one ever says Sepulveda Boulevard. They say Sepulveda. Weird little regional rules.
Right.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Picabo, peekaboo.
Yeah. Picabo Street, the downhill steer. All right. Let's see. So we're going to talk some bare knuckle fighting in a second with
Yes.
Bobby Gunn, who's 73-0
That's pretty good.
Maybe you can protect me from Tommy Shane Snyder if it
You're gonna need him.
comes gunning for me. Dave, and thanks for the so the Costco business is a separate location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, different location. So when you pop it into your Google Maps, like it'll say like either Costco Wholesale or Costco Business Center.
Go business for the meat.
If you want the meat,
better selection.
100%.
All right. You can go to DaveWilliamsonComedy.com and all that. Come back anytime you like.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
for
This
the
is a lot of
seasoning.
fun. I appreciate you guys.
Bring the meats.